Hey everyone, I'm JP, and this is Good Talk HQ. In today's episode, we'll be showing off a bunch of the great holiday eShop deals that you can pick up right now as part of our continued sales coverage. Don't worry though, if you've missed any of the other episodes, I'll be sure to link them down below. If this happens to be your first time here, welcome to the channel. We cover Nintendo Switch games and deals a few times a week, and we love sharing the savings with our wonderful community. If you enjoyed the video, please consider becoming part of our extended family by hitting that red button down below to subscribe. We'd love to welcome you into the group, plus it'll enter you in for the free eShop gift cards that we give away at the end of each month. All you have to do to enter is be sub to the channel and leave us a comment so we can find your name and add it to the current list. And to the extended family, welcome back my friends. I hope you're having a great holiday season. Thanks for an amazing 2021. You are the heart of the channel and you made this whole journey a lot of fun. So again, thank you and much love. Alright folks, and with all of that said, let's jump into the list and try to save some money together. As always, stay safe out there and please enjoy the video. Lightfall. This is a single-player 2D action platformer with an absolutely stunning visual style from Eshop Games, with a download size around 3.3 gigs and a main story that will last roughly 7 to 10 hours to wrap up. In this one, we explore through the world of Numbra, trying to uncover our past and save the world from an impending doom. It's an eternal night, and we have to use the Shadow Core. This is a magical box that we can conjure to help us move around the different levels and overcome the many different puzzles and obstacles. Along the way, we're guided by our companion, a grumpy old owl named Strix, who also acts as the in-game narrator, and when you finish up, there's even a speedrun mode adding a bit of replayability to the game. If you're interested in Lightfall, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 80% to a new all-time low of just $2.99. Aggelos is a retro-style single-player adventure game with a download size around 230 megabytes, and it has a main story that should last roughly 7 to 8 hours to complete. The game combines an old-school look with modern gameplay and controls, making it one of the most fun retro platformers on the Switch in my opinion. We get to explore a vast kingdom with a wide variety of unique locations, the music is top-notch, and the boss battles were by far the highlight for us. They're all animated so well and it's truly a joy to play through. If you're interested in Agellos, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 87% to a new all-time low of just $1.99. Cthulhu Saves Christmas is a single-player parody-style RPG from developer Zeboyd Games with a main story that will last roughly 6 to 8 hours, and it has a download size around 1.5 gigabytes. This one features some of the best writing you'll find in any of these parody-style games, and the pixel art and soundtrack were once again top-notch. The game has players forming together a group to fight off the League of Christmas Evil and save Santa in time for the holiday. The game does take heavy inspiration from classic JRPGs from the 16-bit era, but with a modern, fast-paced spin on several mechanics. If you're interested in Cthulhu Saves Christmas, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 80% to a new all-time low of $1.99. Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams The Owltimate Edition is a single-player action platformer from Handy Games with a download size around 1.3 gigs and a main story that will last roughly 8 to 9 hours to finish up. In this one, we play as the two sisters as we make our way through the 40+ amazing levels, including some all new ones created specifically for this version of the game. Now you have the ability to switch between the two with just the tap of a button, and doing so will change the entire look of the game as you also shift between two different dream worlds. The game also has an easy mode for younger gamers, great controls, plus the soundtrack again was top notch and it looks amazing both in docked and handheld modes. If you're interested in this one, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 93% to a new all-time low of just $1.99. Elli is a single-player 3D puzzle platformer with a top-down view from publisher Banana Kid and will take roughly 6 to 7 hours to wrap up, and it has a download size around 750 megabytes. Fans of Mario Odyssey and other modern 3D platformers will find some fun with this one for sure. It has a likable protagonist and some cleverly designed puzzles for the player to solve along the way. The actual gameplay is solid and it offers a great platforming experience with tight controls and beautiful scenery. Plus, the design of the levels and the puzzles just work so well together. If you're into puzzle-style platformers, make sure to check out Elli before the sale ends on January 10th. It's marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $1.99. GoNNER is a single-player action platformer from Raw Fury with a download size around 600 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 9 to 10 hours to wrap up. Now this game is tough as nails and the levels are procedurally generated. In this one, rage is real as you'll surely die a lot, but it's designed that way and each death makes you better for the next run. Before each run you have the option to buy upgrades for the following one, or you can even get some permanent upgrades. So as you might expect, eventually you get the hang of things and you start doing a lot of damage. This game is really addictive and definitely worth checking out. Right now you can pick it up on sale until January 1st, marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $199. Kave Adventure is a single-player adventure game from 7 levels with a download size around 3.2 gigabytes and a main story that will last roughly 5 hours or so to wrap up. This is a fun side-scrolling platformer with more than 35 colorful levels to make your way through in this beautiful prehistoric world. Of course, the most unique feature in the game is that you have the jetpack that you use to travel around instead of the normal jumping or dashing found in most platformers. The boss fights are amazing, and again the graphics are gorgeous here on the Switch. If you're interested in Kave Adventure, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 3rd. It's marked down 90% to a new all-time low of just $199. Limbo is a single-player adventure game from Playdead, the same folks that made Inside, and it has a download size around 120 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 3 or 4 hours to wrap up. The game actually plays very similar to Inside or Little Nightmares, but with a much darker, monotone graphical aesthetic. The controls are amazing, and the atmosphere set up by the eerie music is outstanding. However, those with arachnophobia should definitely avoid this one. Having played a few games in this genre, I have to say Playdead has mastered these games, and this is just as good as any other out there, and as usual, the puzzles and enemy encounters were top notch. This is another game I highly recommend when on sale, and right now you can pick it up until January 1st, marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $199. And while you're there, be sure to check out Inside as well, it's also on sale. Moon Hunters is a party-style RPG from Kit Fox Games with a main story that will last roughly 6 to 7 hours, and it has a download size just under 2 gigabytes. The game is available for up to 4 players in local co-op, and it allows the player to create their own legend. The game world is different every time you play, which is a nice touch, and infested with monsters and other baddies all trying to eat you. And when the moon fails to rise, we have to set out either solo or, like I said, with some friends to uncover the reason why. With limited time before an invading enemy army takes over, you have to hurry. This version includes the DLC as well, so if you're interested in Moon Raiders, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 87%, matching an all-time low of just $199. Oxenfree is a single-player 2D adventure game from publisher Night School Studios with a main story that will take roughly 5 to 10 hours to wrap up, and it has a download size around 2.2 gigabytes. Now this is a supernatural thriller about a group of friends who mistakenly open a ghostly gateway during an overnight party. The game features an intelligent conversation system that will change the outcome of the story based on your dialogue choices, which I always love. On top of that, Oxenfree is a wonderful experience for fans of old school horror films from the 80s as well. If you're interested in this one, you can pick it up until January 1st, marked down 80% to a new all-time low of just $199. Next we have Cinemora X. This is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up available for 2 players in local co-op from publisher THQ and offers roughly 5 to 6 hours of main story gameplay. Now this is a remaster of a beloved classic, and it has a download size around 1 gigabyte. It features a unique gameplay mechanic in that instead of the normal health meter or health points, instead you have a timer that's affected each time you take a hit. This adds a lot of pressure to complete the mission and can tend to cause mistakes to compound on one another. The game also has over 50 different weapon combinations for use in each of the stages, and it even has an arcade mode for classic fans of the series. If you're interested in Cinemora X, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 93% to a new all-time low of just $199. SuperEpic: The Entertainment War is a single-player 2D action platformer from Numskull Games with a download size around 870 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 10 hours. The game takes place in the not-so-distant future where a corrupt video game company has taken over control of the masses with addictive and free video games. We play as a young raccoon with our trusty steed as we explore the offices of this corrupt corporation, taking on a wide variety of enemies, epic bosses, and overcoming the puzzles we find along the way. It's up to us to break in and save the world. This is a really fun game, and if you're interested in SuperEpic, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 13th. It's marked down 88%, matching a previous low of just $215. Masters of Anima is a single-player strategy-style adventure game from Focus Home Interactive and offers players a main story that will last roughly 6 to 7 hours to wrap up. In this one, we have to defy the forces of evil in massive strategic battles where you control armies of up to 100 guardians. The voice acting was amazing, and the cutscenes are fantastic to watch on the Switch. Now there is a bit of a difficulty curve to this one, so be patient as it will pay off in the end. There are a few camera issues, but nothing that takes away from the fun gameplay loop, and fans of any dungeon crawlers or strategic battle style games should definitely check this one out. Right now it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 65% to a new all-time low of just $244. Dicey Dungeons is a single-player strategy RPG from Distractionware Limited with a download size around 1.1 gigs and offers more than 40 hours of main story gameplay. Now this is a deck-building roguelike where you fight your way through an ever-changing dungeon, searching for loot and experience to level up your party. There are 6 playable characters, each with unique playstyles and different skills, giving the game a lot of variety to how you can approach the different battles. If you enjoy a good deck builder, make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on January 5th. It's marked down 80% to a new all-time low of just $299. Finding Teddy 2, the Definitive Edition, is a 2D retro-style adventure RPG offering more than 20 hours of gameplay with a download size around 485 megabytes. The story revolves around a young girl that's found herself in this magical world called Exodus, trying to find and save her lost teddy bear. While the story is very good, the game does not hold your hand in any way, and you'll definitely get lost without a little help, or at least I did. The art style and sound design are great on the Switch, and I promise the puzzles are mind-melting. The game is definitely tough, but the controls feel great, and once you start to figure things out, it really does open up a lot. There's a lot of content here, the enemy types are fantastic, and it really is a cool game and worth checking out while on sale until January 10th. Right now it's marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $299. Next we have Gato Roboto. This is a 2D retro-style platform adventure game from Devolver Digital, who usually does great work on these Switch games. Now this one is a single-player adventure that will take roughly 3 to 4 hours to wrap up, and it has a download size around 900 megabytes. I was addicted to this one right away. I love the graphics and the controls feel great. Plus, behind the silly title and the retro graphics, which I loved, there's a solid game here with a really fun gameplay loop and an amazing soundtrack. You get to hop in and out of your armored mech suit and traverse both land and underwater in this amazing little platformer, and if you still haven't checked it out, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. Right now it's marked down 50% and matching a previous low of just $399. With Saints Row 4 Re-Elected. This is a huge open world 3D action game similar to GTA, and this one has a download size of 8.5 gigabytes and a main story that will last roughly 20 to 30 hours to finish up. The game also has multiplayer both for local and online, up to 2 players as well, making this an absolute steal and the pick of the week for games under $5. Now this is definitely where the series went off the rails with the over-the-top action and story beats, but it's a great time just the same. We're now the president and it's on our shoulders to save Earth from an alien invasion. If you like other games in the series or games like GTA, be sure to pick this one up before the sale ends on December 31st. It's marked down 93% to a new all-time low of just $279. Next we have Reknum. This is a 2D single-player action platformer with some RPG elements thrown in as well. It has a download size around 135 megabytes and a main story that should last 4 or 5 hours to wrap up. However, it's extremely challenging and I've rage quit a few times already, so you'll probably get a bit more out of it. In this one we play as a young princess named Cherry, and we have to explore the 6 different zones looking for loot and crystals to increase our power in order to progress through the story. Each zone adds something new to keep the game fun and interesting throughout, plus the retro graphics and sound are top notch and the boss battles were really fun as well. Like before, if you're a fan of other games in the series or you want something punishingly hard, make sure to check out Reknum before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 60%, matching a previous low of just $199. Rive, the Ultimate Edition, is a 2D arcade-style action platformer from Two Tribes Publishing with a download size around 850 megabytes and offers roughly 8 to 10 hours of main story gameplay. This game is hectic and crazy, but so much fun to play. You have to blast your way through some intense and spectacular battles in this tough but fair platformer. The game also features multiplayer action for 2 players and local co-op, which is always welcome here at the channel. In Rive, you get to pilot a spider tank as your main mode of transportation, and this little guy is a monster. This is one of our favorite games, and it's back on sale matching a previous low, so if you're interested, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 5th. It's marked down 87% to just $199. Super MagBot is a single-player 2D puzzle platformer from Team 17 with a download size around 360 megabytes, and due to the difficult nature of the game and how you have to master each level, it'll take quite a while before you're done. The major difference here from most platformers is that you can't jump, and instead you have to use these different color bounce pads to navigate through the levels. This is actually the part of the game that takes a little bit to learn, but the reward that follows in the completion of each level is well worth the frustration to get there. The 16-bit aesthetic and the amazing soundtrack set it to a new level, and this game is definitely worth checking out while on sale until January 6th. Right now it's marked down 89% to a new all-time low of just $199. Figment is a single-player 3D adventure game with some action elements thrown into the mix. The game has a download size just under 2 GB and a main story that will take players roughly 5 to 7 hours to complete. The hand-painted art and animations and the peaceful soundtrack are an amazing part of the game and the biggest draw to me. The gameplay itself is very similar to Bastion or Transistor if you've ever played those before. The whole game takes place inside the mind of a young man who's been in an accident and fallen into a coma, so we get to play out the events of the man's imagination. There are puzzles to solve, obstacles to overcome, and this game is a lot of fun, and it's a must-buy right now as it's on sale at a new all-time low until January 5th. Right now it's marked down 90% to just $199. Riddled Corpses EX is an arcade-style twin-stick shooter for 1 to 2 players in local co-op with a download size just under 200 megabytes. It features multiple game modes including the story mode, which in itself has about 4 hours of content, and it has the arcade mode, which is all-out mayhem. There are 6 playable characters, all with unique stats and abilities, upgrades and unlockables, and online leaderboards. If you're still on the fence, there's even a demo on the eShop so you can check it out first. If you're a fan of games like Galaxy Champions or Smash TV, you'll definitely enjoy this one as well, and right now you can get Riddled Corpses EX on sale until January 1st. It's marked down 80% to just $199, matching a previous low. The Count Lucanor is a single-player adventure-style game from Merge Games and offers players a main story that should last roughly 4 to 6 hours to complete. Now this is a disturbing game shown from a top-down view with some of the best pixel art on the Switch in our opinion. The story follows a young boy named Hans who's run away from home and finds himself trapped in a nightmarish castle with a devious ruler who likes to play twisted games. We get to traverse a huge castle and try to uncover the mysterious nature of the things going on here. What I really like is that every decision you make can alter the final outcome, and there are 5 total different endings that you can see. This is a great value when on sale, and right now you can pick it up until January 6th, marked down 87% to a new all-time low of just $199. Next we have Ageless. This is a single-player retro platformer again from Team 17, and this one has a unique feature to how the game plays out. You see in Ageless, you have the ability to alter the age of plants and the animals, which will come in handy as you try to solve the many puzzles throughout the different levels. Now the game can definitely make your brain hurt from time to time as you try to figure out what to do next, but the graphics and sound are once again top notch. This is a game all about facing your inner demons as we assume the role of Kiera and forge our way through an unknown world. If you're looking for a solid 2D platformer with a unique flair, make sure to pick this one up before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 87% to a new all-time low of just $199. Overcooked the Special Edition is a party-style multiplayer game from Team 17 offering hours of chaotic fun for the whole family and local co-op. The game has a download size just under 1 gig, and in the Special Edition you get the original plus all of the DLC as well. This includes the Lost Morsel and the Festive Seasoning DLCs, making it a great value when you can find it on sale. In the story, the Onion Kingdom is in danger and only the finest cooking will be able to save it. You have to work together through a variety of cruel and punishing kitchens on a quest to become master chefs. If you want a fun and sometimes infuriatingly good time, make sure to check out Overcooked the Special Edition before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 90% to a new all-time low of just $199. Blood Will Be Spilled is a single-player 2D strategy adventure game that will take roughly 5 to 6 hours to complete and has a download size right around 2 gigabytes. In this one, players assume the role of Jack, who's a bounty hunter, and we're on a path of revenge. This is an epic adventure with enough guns and melee weapons to keep even the most hardcore gamers satisfied. The voice acting was a particular highlight for us, it was top notch. This is another game like Fury Unleashed that kinda looks like a comic book that comes to life on the screen, only with this one it's more focused on calculated movement and strategic planning. If you're interested in Blood Will Be Spilled, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $299. Next up we have This War of Mine, the Complete Edition. This is a single-player 2D strategy game from 11-bit studios with a download size around 4 gigabytes and a main campaign that will last more than 15 hours to wrap up. In this one, we play as a group of civilians trying to survive in the midst of a war that's raging on around us. It actually has a day and night cycle that's tied directly to the gameplay. Basically, you're trapped inside during the day, and that's when you'll do all the building and the management type stuff, and then at night you can send out survivors to do different missions and scavenge for supplies. The bundle includes the base game and all of the DLC, plus all of the enhancements as well, making this an excellent value, and it's currently on sale until January 2nd. It's marked down 91% to just $359, matching a previous low. Raging Justice is an arcade-style fighter developed by Making Games and published by one of our favorites, again Team 17. It has a download size around 1 GB and is available for 2 players in local co-op. Now the main game isn't very long, only lasted maybe 2 hours, but there's a ton of replayability here, so you'll definitely get your money's worth if you decide to pick it up. The 2D graphics are amazing and the game features some absolutely brutal combat. The game also gives you the option of playing as somewhat of a good guy or an all-out savage, and what I mean is that you can either daze and arrest your enemies or you can just take them out if you want. If you're a fan of classic arcade-style beat-em-ups, make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $374. Crypt of the Necrodancer, the Nintendo Switch edition, is a rhythm-based dungeon crawler for 1 to 2 players in local co-op from Brace Yourself Games with the main story that will last more than 20 hours. It has a download size just under 2 GB, and this is one of my favorite games and also one of the toughest I've played in a long time. You have to move through the dungeons and attack on the rhythm of the beat that's playing in the background. I know it sounds a bit odd at first, but the game is fantastic, and of course in a game like this it all comes down to the soundtrack, which was outstanding. The game is way harder than you might think by just looking at it, but it is a lot of fun and the co-op mode is just an extra bonus on top, making it an even better value. Make sure to check this one out before the sale ends on January 3rd. It's marked down to just $399, matching a previous low at an 80% discount. The Party Hard plus High Crimes Pack is an arcade-style puzzle game from Tiny Build Games available for 2 players offline with the main story that would take roughly 10 hours to wrap up. Have you ever had a neighbor that was always loud and obnoxious at all hours of the night? Well, in Party Hard, you get to experience just that, and your only goal is to ruin the party and put an end to the ones disturbing your peace by any means necessary. There are 19 unique levels, and the levels can have various random elements every time you play to keep things fresh. The game is played from a top-down view and features some amazing pixel art graphics that look great on the Switch. If you're interested in this one, now is definitely the time to buy it with the DLC included, and it's on sale until January 6th, marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $449. The Darkside Detective is a single-player puzzle-style point-and-click adventure game from Isometric Dreams with a main story that will last roughly 5 to 6 hours to finish up, and it has a download size just over 1.5 GB. Now this is really a series of smaller experiences that add up to one great overall experience. It's basically the first season, so to speak. Players take over the role of Francis McQueen, who's a detective at the Darkside Division and always eager to take the cases that no one else wants. As such, it can lead to some pretty comedic moments throughout the game. There are 9 spooky paranormal cases to investigate and solve, amazing pixel art and animation, and some awesome music to play as well. If you're interested in this one and you like a good scary story, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on December 31st. It's marked down 65% to a new all-time low of just $454. Torchlight II is an action-adventure RPG from Perfect World with a download size of 2 GB and a main story that will last more than 20 hours to finish up. It's shown from a top-down view and has amazing graphics and sound. The game also has co-op, both local and online, for up to 4 players, making it an amazing value. There's definitely a lot of content you can share with your friends, and it has a pretty cool character customization section as well, with 4 unique classes, all with different skills and abilities. Now the game is massive, but it even has a new game plus, which brings a whole new level of challenge into the game. If you're interested in Torchlight 2, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on December 31st. It's marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $499. The sequel is also on sale. Next up we have Vaporum. This is a single-player grid-based dungeon crawling RPG with an original steampunk setting inspired by old-school classics of the genre. Now, being that it's grid-based, it uses what they call tank controls, meaning that you move square by square and rotate in 90-degree increments when you turn. The mechanic was used a lot in old school gaming, and it does add a level of strategic planning into the gameplay. At the beginning of the game, you're given the option of 3 different mech suits that you can wear, and they all play a little bit differently from one another, and they're also the way that you'll upgrade your character throughout the game. It looks and runs great on the Switch, but there is one major flaw. The text in handheld mode is way too small, but outside of that I had no complaints. Now you have to be warned though, this is a tough game, but if you're up to the challenge, it's definitely worth checking out, and it's on sale until January 6th, marked down to a new all-time low of just $499, an 80% discount. The Escapist 2 is a cool retro RPG with a top-down view, available for 1 or 2 players locally and 4 players online. The game has a download size around 3 gigabytes and a main story that should last more than 30 hours. Now the basic premise of this one is that you're a prisoner and you can't stop thinking of a way to escape. You have to study guard patterns, learn the NPC routines, and attend daily events in order to plan your escape while avoiding suspicion. The game even has a character customization screen so you can add some uniqueness into the game to make it your own. Now the game is still fun solo, but even more fun with a group of friends. And right now it's on sale until January 6th, marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $4.99. Yoku's Island Express is a single-player 2D puzzle platformer, again from Team 17, with a download size around 1.4 gigs and a main story that will last more than 10 hours to wrap up. As I always say, this is one of our personal favorites and an extremely charming game. You get to assume the role of the island's new postmaster, and you have to make sure to deliver everyone's mail on time. Most of the island is covered with fog or obstructed by some obstacle or some scary monster is blocking the way, and that's where the game's unique pinball mechanics come in. The sound and artwork were perfect, and the story is emotional and gripping. If you still haven't played this one or given it a shot, please check it out. You may be surprised how much fun it really is. Right now you can pick up Yoku's Island Express on sale until January 6th, marked down 75%, matching an all-time low of just $4.99. Rogue Aces. This is an arcade-style 2D shooter from Infinite State Games with a main campaign that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours, and it has a download size around 160 megabytes. Now this is basically a 2D aerial combat roguelike featuring a unique solo campaign combined with a great multiplayer game. In fact, there are multiple modes that are designed just for the 4-player offline co-op. Both solo and multiplayer modes are a blast though, and the single player story is fully fleshed out and even offers some unlockables that you can find and collect. There's a lot of value here, especially when you can catch it on sale. The graphics and controls are great on the Switch, and right now you can pick it up until January 10th, marked down 85%, matching a previous low of just $1.99. Hammerwatch is an action RPG from Blitworks with a download size around 300 megabytes and a main campaign that will last roughly 10 to 12 hours to wrap up. This is another game that's playable in local co-op for up to 4 players as well as online, making this a great value. There are 7 playable characters, multiple different game modes including the fan favorite survival mode, multiple difficulty settings, and console exclusives as well. The game has been rebalanced to give a better overall experience, and right now it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $2.49. Guacamelee, the Super Turbo Championship Edition, is a 2D action platformer from Drinkbox Studios and offers roughly 10 to 15 hours of main story gameplay. The game is available for up to 4 players in local co-op, and it has a download size around 650 megabytes. This is a Metroidvania-style platformer set in a magical world inspired by traditional Mexican culture and folklore. Players will traverse densely filled towns, dark forests, and fiery volcanoes in this challenging, action-packed game. One of the best overall features for us is when you have the local couch co-op that you can just drop in, and it's available for the entire game. It hooked us from start to finish, and this is one of our favorites. Make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 80% to a new all-time low of just $2.99. Kingdom New Lands is a single-player 2D adventure game from Raw Fury with a download size around 470 megabytes and a main story that can last more than 25 hours to finish up. Now this one doesn't give you much guidance at all, and instead you sort of have to figure everything out on your own. As you work to build up and defend your kingdom, you'll have greedy creatures trying to steal your gold, betrayal from your loyal followers, and several other things keeping you awake at night. As you build a loyal following, you'll start to rebuild the town, and the game does get a bit easier at that point, but again, this one requires a lot of patience and focus. The art and animations, the story, the soundtrack, it's all phenomenal here, and right now you can pick it up until January 1st. It's marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $2.99. Paddlebox is a single-player arcade-style fighting game from publisher Bromeo and will take roughly 6 to 8 hours to finish up. The game has a download size around 1.5 gigabytes, and it features an over-the-shoulder view similar to something like the old Punch-Out games from past generations. In fact, it not only looks like those titles, but it also shares almost identical movesets with the Punch-Out games as well. Where the game sets itself apart though, of course, is the story, which follows Paddle after he's been ambushed at the height of his career. When we awaken, it's our goal to get to the bottom of the case and discover the true reason behind the vicious attack. The game features black and white graphics with a mix of 2D and 3D elements throughout, and that's another highlight for us. You aren't confined to just the in-ring battles, you can actually explore and work your way to the different bosses. Right now you can pick up Paddlebox on sale until January 1st, marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $2.99. The Persistence is a single-player first-person horror experience from Firesprite Games with a download size around 3.5 GB and it offers unlimited hours of gameplay. The space station that we explore is procedurally generated and the crew have all been mutilated and turned into horrific creatures with a taste for blood. In this one, we dive deep into the space colony in order to repair the ship and get it operational again. There are cool weapon upgrades in these different areas where you can alter your DNA in order to improve your health or your defense. One cool feature of the game is that you can have a second player connect with a phone or a tablet and they can take control of the ship's computer. From there they can help you navigate through the maze-like spaceship or open up doors and things like that. If you're interested in the Persistence, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 90% to a new all-time low of just $2.99. Far Lone Sails is a single-player adventure platformer from Mixed Vision and offers roughly 3 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 2.2 GB. This game is absolutely beautiful on the Switch and it has amazing art and animations, plus the music really helps set the atmosphere as you start to feel alone with just your trusty machine. Your journey takes you across a dried out seabed and you'll have to learn how to maintain and repair the massive vessel that you're traveling within. The puzzle game is sort of like a minigame that plays in the foreground while the main story is going on around you. Again, this is an amazing game, and if you're interested in Far Lone Sails, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. Right now it's marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $3.74. Mabel in the Wood is a single-player 2D platformer from Graffiti Games with a download size around 600 MB and a main story that will last roughly 4 or 5 hours to wrap up. The story centers around Mabel, a young protagonist whom has been resurrected by an ancient cult to save the dying world. It's said that you're the one that will fulfill a prophecy by hunting down these giant beasts and putting an end to their evil. The premise of the game is pretty unique, and it even goes a step further by giving players the freedom to choose if they want to eradicate the darkness or succumb to it. What this means is that you can show mercy or kill almost anyone in the game. It does take a little bit of getting used to the limited mobility as the sword that Mabel carries around is far too heavy. However, they did add these different transformations into the game that you get along the way that help out. If you're interested in Mabel in the Wood, it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $3.74. Splasher is a fun and challenging 2D platformer full of comedy and set in a crazy cartoon network. It has a download size around 1.5 GB and it will take roughly 7 to 8 hours to finish up. In this one, we're armed with just our paint cannon to face off against the dangerous Ink Corp and their mega factory as we try to save our fellow Splashers and finish off the final boss. Now this game is challenging and will require lightning quick reflexes and patience as you discover new ways to tackle each level. Featuring one of the most outrageous soundtracks and bright colorful environments, I had to grab this one up a little bit ago. If you're a fan of comedy and 2D platformers that are tough as nails, make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on January 2nd. It's marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $3.74. Donut County is a unique single-player puzzle-style game from Annapurna Interactive, and it has a download size around 380 MB with the main story that will last roughly 2 or 3 hours to finish up. Now this is a physics-based puzzle game where you play as a sinkhole in the ground that grows bigger and bigger with each victim. The story is pretty funny though, and the main plot centers around a group of raccoons that have created these remote control holes to steal people's food and belongings. You even get different abilities, like eventually you can catapult items into different areas of the level, which will help solve puzzles on different occasions. If you like funny little puzzle games, make sure to grab this one up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 71%, matching a previous low of just $3.79. Flipping Death is a single-player 2D puzzle adventure game from publisher Zoink Games and offers roughly 5 to 10 hours of main story gameplay. It has a download size around 2.8 GB, and in this game we play as a young woman named Penny who has died under strange circumstances. When we awake, we find ourselves filling in for Death himself, and the unique feature to this game is the ability to flip between the world of the living and the world of the dead. In fact, you use this ability to help solve many of the puzzles that you encounter along the journey to uncover the mysterious circumstances around our final moments. The game features a rich and colorful environment with a unique art style and a very emotional story that is sure to keep you engaged and moving forward. Right now you can pick up Flipping Death on sale until January 8th. It's marked down 80%, matching a previous low of just $3.99. Hero Blaster is a single-player 2D shooter from publisher Playism, and it has a main story that will last roughly 5 to 6 hours to wrap up. The game has a download size around 80 megabytes and features a unique pixel art aesthetic and some awesome platforming fun. It reminded me of those old games you'd play back on the floppy disk on retro computers, which is what initially caught my attention. We play as a walking frog with the task of fending off those that would seek to destroy the company that we work for. When you start the game, you're pretty weak and your gear is pretty terrible, but as you play and die, which will happen a lot, you start to save up some money, and eventually you can go shopping for upgrades to both your health and gear. This is a pretty fun game, and if you're interested, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 60%, matching a previous low of just $3.99. Akuno Ka is a single-player action platformer from Ignition Publishing with a download size around 2.3 gigabytes. Now, while the main story for this one isn't very long, the difficulty level of the game will give you plenty of playtime before you put it back down. This is an ultra-challenging game with more than 100 intense levels and some insane boss battles. It brings back that classic feel of old-school run-and-jump platformers, but it requires lightning-quick reflexes in order to survive. The art and animations are fantastic, and the game runs really smooth on the Switch. And if you're interested in this one, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. Right now it's marked down 73% to a new all-time low of just $3.99. Neurovoider is an adventure game from Plug-in Digital that offers solo and local couch co-op action and can take more than 7 hours to complete. Now, Neurovoider is a twin-stick shooter with RPG mechanics, and it takes place in a cyber-futuristic world where players will have to battle through hordes of enemies in some of the most intense fights on the Switch. Someone actually counted, and there are more than 8,500 unique enemies to blow up in this one, which is truly impressive. With loads of customizable upgrades and loot, this is a great value for you and some of your buddies or your family members. And right now you can pick up Neurovoider on sale until January 2nd, marked down 70%, matching a previous low of just $4.19. Crawl is a single-player action RPG from Powerhoof Games with the download size around 254 megabytes. The game offers tons of replayability due to the local multiplayer available for up to 4 players, but the unique spin here is that your friends actually control the monsters. In this dungeon crawler, you try to stay alive and make it through each floor as your friends try to take you out. It's sort of like a game of tag, where the person that catches you and kills you becomes the next person to begin the following round. Now you can of course play solo with bots, but the game really shines with a group of friends. There are a ton of different stages to play through and monsters that you can play as, and right now the game is on sale until January 1st, marked down 70%, matching a previous low of just $4.49. Freedom Planet is a single-player 2D adventure game with a download size around 380 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours to wrap up. The game is shown from a side view with gorgeous 2D pixel art graphics, a rocking soundtrack to pump you up, and some smooth gameplay. The boss battles though were a particular highlight for us, as they're not only epic and fun to fight against, but they also have their own theme music. There are 3 playable characters, a cool momentum-based platforming system, and tons of content on offer here, making this a great value. Right now you can pick up Freedom Planet on sale until January 4th, marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $4.49. Aegis Defenders is a multiplayer action RPG from Humble Games and offers players a main story that will last roughly 15 hours or so to wrap up. The game has a download size around 1.5 gigabytes and it's gorgeous on the Switch. Now the game is a mashup of 2 genres done almost to perfection, where you'll have to explore, build, and defend in this unique mashup of action platforming and tower defense. You play as a team of hunters searching the ruins for the only thing that may be able to save your village, a lost legendary weapon called the Aegis. This is another great option if you have a sibling or a friend that you like to play video games with in local co-op, and if you're interested in this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. Right now it's marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $4.99. Friday the 13th, the Ultimate Slasher Edition, is another multiplayer style game. This time it comes to us from Gun Media and has a download size around 4.3 gigabytes. Now again, the game does have a solo mode that you can play with bots, but it really does shine best with the online multiplayer. The game allows up to 8 people to join together and then randomly picks one to play as Jason, while the rest try to find a way of escaping and living through the night. It takes place at Camp Crystal Lake and the game is absolutely brutal. It's one of the more fun games in the genre, probably due to the popularity of the movie series, but the game is a lot of fun. If you're interested in this one, right now it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $4.99. Redeemer the Enhanced Edition is a single-player action fighter available for 1 to 2 players in local co-op with a main story that will last roughly 6 to 8 hours to wrap up. It has a download size around 3.6 gigabytes, and this is an intense top-down fighter with brutal close-quarter combat, a dodge and parry system requiring precise timing, and even a few unique finishing moves to dispatch your enemies in glorious fashion. It's actually pretty impressive how well it runs on the Switch, and it even has a physics-based damage system where you can dismember your opponents and then use their body parts as weapons. The story mode is made for one player, while the other modes are designed with multiplayer action in mind. Right now you can get the Enhanced Edition on sale until December 31st, marked down 80% to just $5.99, matching a previous low. SteamWorld Dig 2 is a single-player 2D adventure platformer from Image Inform International with a download size of 300 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 10 to 15 hours to wrap up. The story follows a lone Steambot with her companion as they investigate a series of earthquakes under her hometown. Players will have to dig their way underground to explore vivid worlds riddled with treasures, secrets, and traps. You also have to battle dangerous enemies including shadowy creatures and navigate the twisted paths. There are weapon and gear upgrades that you'll need as you progress further and face even bigger challenge, plus there's even some cool gadgets that you can use such as a hookshot or a jet engine. If you're interested in this one, you can grab it up on sale along with the rest of the series until January 1st. SteamWorld Dig 2 in particular is marked down 70% to just $5.99, which is an all-time low. Blasphemous is back on sale at a new all-time low. This is a single-player action platformer from Team 17 and offers roughly 20 hours of main story gameplay with a download size just over 7 gigabytes. The game itself is punishingly difficult and combines fast-paced, skill-based combat with a deep story-driven narrative. A foul curse has fallen upon the citizens known as the Miracle, and you play as the Penitent One, a sole survivor of the massacre, and as such we're trapped in an endless cycle of death and then rebirth. The game features amazing pixel art graphics and a dark and somber soundtrack to go with them. You have to explore this huge world and overcome fearsome enemies plus deadly traps. Like I said, it's definitely a tough game, but it's a blast to play and a great value when on sale. If you're interested, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $6.24. Shing, this is an arcade-style beat-em-up from Mass Creation designed for up to 4 players in local co-op. It has a download size around 5.5 gigabytes and offers unlimited hours of fun. It features awesome controls with an on-the-fly weapon system that's tied to the right thumbstick, which gives players quick access to the vast assortment of different weapons. The combat system also allows players to mix and match combos and change characters on the fly, plus you can even turn enemy abilities back against them. The enemies though are no joke and the bosses are even tougher, but again, if you're into video game punishment, definitely check out Shing before the sale ends on December 31st. It's marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $5.99. Curious Expedition is a single-player roguelike style simulation game that can take upwards of 50 hours to complete. It has a download size just under 500 megabytes, but what's unique here is that a single playthrough is only a piece of the whole story, so replayability here is outstanding and almost required to see it all. The game requires strategic thinking and planning ahead in order to find the rare items and followers, plus the retro graphics and sound are top-notch. It's easy to see that a lot of passion has gone into the creation of this game, and ultimately it can be really addictive. If you're into exploration-heavy games, make sure to grab this one up as it's on sale until January 8th, marked down 60% to a new all-time low of just $5.99. Torchlight III is a 3D action RPG from Perfect World and has a main story that should last more than 20 hours to wrap up with a download size just under 10.5 gigabytes. The game offers both solo and online multiplayer modes as well and takes place nearly a century after the events of the previous game. The kingdom, of course, is once again under attack and we have to travel out to defend it. Along the way you'll collect gear and weapon upgrades and even pets as you battle through the different dungeons. The game does have deep RPG mechanics and several different classes that you can choose between, giving the game a lot of variety to how you can approach it. If you're a fan of the series, make sure to check out the eShop as they're all on sale right now, but for Torchlight 3, it's marked down 85% to a new all-time low of just $5.99, and the sale ends December 31st. Overcooked II is a multiplayer-style party game from Team 17 with a download size around 5.7 gigabytes, and it offers dozens and dozens of hours of chaotic gameplay in local co-op as well as online for the first time in the series. After the events of the first game in Saving the World, a new threat has arisen and calls for the finest chefs to reunite once again. In the sequel, the kitchens are more dangerous than ever before, and now with the addition of online multiplayer, the game is even more fun than ever before. The game did just build on top of all of the great parts from the original, and right now, it's on sale until January 6th, marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $624. Golf Story is a retro-style sports RPG which is basically a blend of RPG mechanics and sports mechanics all packaged together. It comes to us from Sidebar Games and has a main story that will last roughly 15 to 20 hours to wrap up with a download size around 1.3 gigabytes. Now this is a game that may surprise players as it's truly a joy to play, and it mixes the standard RPG mechanics that you would expect to find with some interesting golf-related puzzles and objectives. There are 8 unique different environments to explore and dozens of puzzles to solve, plus a fully fleshed out story. If you still haven't played Golf Story, maybe check it out as it's on sale until December 31st and it's marked down 53%, matching a previous low of just $6.99. Morbid the Seven Acolytes is a single-player action RPG with an isometric view and stunning pixel art graphics. It has a download size around 780 megabytes and offers a main story that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours to wrap up. Now this is a gruesome and disturbing Souls-like game featuring epic and brutal boss battles, diverse environments, and a deeply narrative-driven story. Along the way, players find different gear, weapon, and skill upgrades as we challenge the 7 possessed acolytes with godlike powers in order to save the kingdom. If you're up for a challenge and into this type of game, you can grab it up before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down to just $7.49, 70% off, and a new all-time low. Death Road to Canada is an adventure road trip style game from Rocket Cat Games with a download size around 200 megabytes, and it has a story mode that offers more than 15 hours of gameplay. This is mainly due to the difficulty and the randomization of each run. The events, locations, and even characters that you meet are all random, and the story is always changing. It can get a bit overwhelming with tons of zombies chasing you down at one time, but each death gives you a chance to spend points and upgrade for the next run. Each of your decisions hold a lot of weight and alter the endings, plus the game also has local co-op for up to 4 players, which is always a bonus for us. Again, if you've been on the fence about this one, now is a great time to check it out before the sale ends on December 31st. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $7.49. Yooka-Laylee is a single-player 3D action platformer from publisher Team 17, one of our favorites at the channel. It has a download size around 8 gigabytes, and this was basically made as a homage to the classic Banjo and Kazooie series from the Nintendo 64 days. Since we've never been given a proper sequel, Team 17 has brought us the next best thing, and this game is a true joy to play, featuring gorgeous worlds, smooth animations, and that ever-frustrating camera from the genre and era. The random grunts and sounds that they use to represent each character's dialogue were as charming as ever, and I highly recommend checking this one out. If you're interested in this one, you can grab it up until January 6th. You'll be able to pick it up for just $7.99, marked down 80% to a new all-time low. Star Ocean First Departure R is a single-player RPG from Square Enix with a download size just over 4.1 gigs and a main story that will last more than 25 hours to wrap up. Now in this one we play as a member of the local village defense force, and it's our job to protect the people from a mysterious disease that has begun infecting the locals. It's actually leaving people alive, but in this horrible petrified state. We join forces with a couple of our closest friends and set out for the neighboring town in search for a cure. Of course, this is the origin story, and it's great for first-time players who are new to the series. With that being said, it's also a great time to jump in as it's on sale until December 31st, marked down 60% to a new all-time low of just $8.39, and while you're there you can check out some of Square Enix's other titles as many of them are currently on sale. Gear Club Unlimited 2 is a realistic racer, or about as close to one that we have here on the Switch, and it has a download size around 4.75 gigabytes. The game features both online and local competitive multiplayer, which is amazing since most racing games only offer local multiplayer for us here on the Switch. There are more than 250 races, several different racing modes including championships, missions, and challenges, plus as you progress through the story you'll build up an awesome garage of different supercars. On top of that, the game also allows players to create and join different clubs to challenge other players for different rewards. You start off with access to 51 different cars, but that number grows significantly as you play. If you're looking for a good realistic online racer with a decent single player mode, make sure to grab up Gear Club Unlimited 2. It's on sale until January 4th, marked down 85%, matching an all-time low of just $5.99. Sparklight is an amazing action-adventure title with a top-down view and gorgeous pixel art graphics. The game was published by Merge Games and offers roughly 9 to 10 hours of gameplay for 1 to 2 players in local co-op. It takes place in an ever-changing world and tells the story of the world's lifeblood, the Sparklight. There are 5 different unique areas to explore, a crafting system which allows players to invent their own unique weapons, tough boss battles, and again that enthralling story. One thing to note is that the co-op is more of an assistive player mode than a full-blown 2-player mode, so just keep that in mind. If you're interested in Sparklight, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 6th. It's just $6.24, marked down 75% to a new all-time low. Monster Sanctuary is an adventure-style platform RPG from Team 17, one of our favorite publishers here at the channel. The game has a main story that should last more than 30 hours, and it also has multiplayer action for 2 players as well. The game features gorgeous pixelated graphics with a side view, and sees players collecting, training, and battling with monsters similar to something like Pokemon. In this one, we get to embark on an epic adventure using the monsters that we find along the way, as well as the teammates that we gather. The game even offers a head-to-head battle mode where you can use these different monsters that you found, giving the game even more value when on sale. If you're interested in Monster Sanctuary, be sure to grab it up before the sale ends again on January 6th. It's marked down 66% to a new all-time low of just $6.79. Going Under is a single-player dungeon crawler with a comedic twist from publisher Team 17 and offers players around 10 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 1.4 gigabytes. It features an amazing art style that at first glance might seem like the only thing that's going for it, but this is a great game with witty writing and a fun gameplay loop. The story sees players assuming the role of a lowly intern at a new tech company, and your first job is to explore the dungeons below the building to protect the company campus. The gameplay is fun and addictive, but tough enough for hardcore fans of the genre. If you're interested in Going Under, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's currently marked down 66%, again to just $6.79, matching a previous all-time low. Moonlighter the Complete Edition is a single-player action RPG from 11-bit studios with a download size of around 2 gigabytes and a main story that will last more than 20 hours. The game follows a young man named Will, an adventurous shopkeeper that dreams of becoming a hero, and after the discovery of these ancient gates that will allow people to travel to different realms and seek treasures beyond their wildest dreams, Will sees this as a call to action. It has an addictive gameplay loop, having you search for treasures and then bring them back to the shop to sell them each day. In the Complete Edition, you also get the Between Dimensions expansion as well, and the DLC added new enemies, new bosses, and more. This is a great value, and if you're interested, it's on sale until January 2nd, marked down 76%, matching the previous low of just $6.95. Rico is a first-person arcade-style shooter from Rising Star Games with a download size around 4.8 gigabytes and offers hours and hours of fast-paced, chaotic action. It's available for 2 players in both local and online co-op, and this is basically a buddy cop story where we play as 2 members of the Rico task force, pursuing criminals and then taking them out. The catch is you only have 24 hours to solve each case, and they're all procedurally generated, giving tons of replayability to the game. They also have daily cases which act like daily challenges, and there are even online leaderboards as well. This is a pretty cool game and another great value. If you're interested in Rico, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 8th. It's marked down 65% to a new all-time low of just $6.99. Shadows of Adam is a single-player JRPG from Circle Entertainment and offers more than 15 hours of main story gameplay with a download size of just over 1 gigabyte. The story revolves around 2 main protagonists from a small town called Adam, which eventually grows to 4 as the game progresses. It feels a lot like older games such as Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger. One highlight though was the dialogue. It was extremely well written and some of the jokes were pretty funny too. The action is fast paced, the retro aesthetic looks great on the Switch, and the game features an amazing soundtrack that was composed specifically for the game, featuring over 40 unique tracks. If you're looking for a solid retro style JRPG, make sure to grab this one up before January 6th. It's on sale for just $7.49, marked down half price and matching a previous low.
Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. This is a 2D platformer from Team 17. It has a main story that will last roughly 15 hours. The worlds are bright and colorful, the soundtrack is amazing, and the controls are perfect. You get to jump, dash, and roll through each of the different levels. Plus, each level has a second version that's completely different from the first. I can't recommend this game enough. Make sure to pick up Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. It's on sale until January 6th. It's marked down 75% to just $7.49.
Good job, little man. Next we have Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. We'll focus on the first though. This is a single player survival horror game, one of many in the series from Capcom, and will take players around 10 to 15 hours to complete, and it has a download size around 12 gigabytes. It was originally a 3DS exclusive, which over the years has been upgraded and ported to the Switch along with the sequel. This one takes place between the events of 4 and 6 and revolves around series favorites Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield. The game plays more like 4, 5, and 6 with a 3D over-the-shoulder point of view, made popular in Resident Evil 4. Now the story does explain a bit about how these viruses keep spreading with the Umbrella Corp out of commission, and for me these are must-own titles on the Switch. Having both amazing games on the go together is great. If you're a fan of the series and you still haven't played these, both 1 and 2 are on sale until January 4th, marked down 60% to just $7.99, matching previous lows. While there, be sure to check out the rest of the series is also on sale as well. Liberated: The Enhanced Edition is a single-player action platformer developed by Atomic Wolf and published by Walkabout Games, offering an immersive story that should last roughly 3 or 4 hours to wrap up. It has a download size of about 3.5 gigabytes, and this is another one of those cool comic book aesthetic style games and sees the player working their way through a gripping story. Now the Enhanced Edition added voiceovers to bring another element into that story and made enhancements to both the content and the gameplay. Plus it added 2 new extra chapters as well. If you're interested in Liberated: The Enhanced Edition, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 8th. It's marked down 60% to a new all-time low of just $7.99. Children of Morta is an action RPG published by 11-Bit Studios and offers a main story that can last more than 20 hours, and it has a download size just around 2.5 gigabytes. It also has local co-op for 2 players, and this is a story about a valiant family standing together while the world around them is being devoured by darkness. The game is shown from a top-down view and features amazing pixel art graphics once again. You have 7 playable characters, each different member of the family, and they all play vastly different from one another. There are upgrades to be found, item modifiers between runs, and they even released DLC recently. If you're looking for a great deal this week, Children of Morta is one of the best values right now, and it's on sale until January 2nd, marked down 61%, matching a previous low of just $8.57. Blackbird is a single-player action RPG from Onion Games with a main story that will last roughly 3 or 4 hours to finish up, and it has a download size just over 760 megabytes. Now this is a story of a young girl who dies randomly and is reborn as this ominous blackbird. The game features a darkly humorous world and gorgeous pixel art graphics. The sound though was a particular highlight. Everything in the game alters the sound in one way or another, and this really pulls you into the world. There are multiple endings for replayability, and you can even unlock some extra game modes as well. This really is an interesting game and one of our recommendations for the week. Make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 50% to an all-time low of just $9.49. Crown Trick is a single-player adventure-style RPG, again from Team 17. It has a download size around 1.4 gigabytes and a main story that will last more than 20 hours. It features a unique twist on the turn-based combat that we're used to. The dungeons are atmospheric and randomly generated, and there are more than 100 different skills and abilities that you can use any way you see fit. There are more than 100 different weapons to choose from and tons of secrets to find as well. One really cool feature though are the familiars that you'll find and face off against. If you beat these tough monsters, you can learn their unique abilities for the rest of the story. Really, this game is amazing and absolutely worth checking out while on sale. It's marked down 50% to a new all-time low of just $9.99 until January 6th. Yes Your Grace is a single-player management adventure game from publisher No More Robots with the main campaign that will last roughly 6 to 8 hours to wrap up and a download size around 850 megabytes. In this kingdom management RPG, you'll play as King Eric, who struggles to balance the needs of his family, his people, and the needs of the kingdom overall. The story is gripping, and some of the characters are very memorable and will stick with you for a while. Plus, the world really does feel alive. On top of that, you have dialogue choices that change the story, resource management, plus the looming impending threat of an imposing army on the horizon that's always in the back of your mind. If you like these narrative-driven retro-style games, make sure to check this one out before January 5th. It's marked down 60%, matching a previous low of just $7.99. Wizard of Legend. This is an action-adventure style game from Humble Games, available for 1 to 2 players in local co-op, and offers a main story that will last roughly 15 hours to wrap up. It has a download size just under a gigabyte, and this is a fast-paced dungeon crawler with an emphasis on the dynamic combat system. You have to think fast and move quick, and if you can do so quick enough, you'll be able to chain together spells for massive damage bonuses. The game has more than 100 different spells that you can find and combine in cool different ways, and this gives the player a level of freedom to how they choose to play. You can either dive headfirst into combat or let your minions do the work for you, and of course you can do it all solo or with a friend in co-op. If you're interested in Wizard of Legend, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $4.79. Foregone is a single-player action platformer from Big Blue Bubble and offers more than 10 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 1.4 gigabytes. Now this is a fast-paced 2D platformer with amazing pixel art graphics and an immersive soundtrack. We take over the role of a super soldier tasked with defending our city by uncovering the secrets of the past. Along the way you find and collect a vast arsenal of powerful weapons as well as learn new powerful skills that you'll need to face off against the final boss. There are tons of enemies to have some fun with, and the game is highly recommended whenever it's on sale, and right now you can pick it up until January 1st. It's marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $4.99. Mark of the Ninja Remastered is a single-player outing from Klei Entertainment, the same folks that gave us the survival game Don't Starve, and can take over 15 hours to wrap up with the download size around 3.6 gigabytes. This is a 2D platformer with excellent controls, smooth animations, and a great soundtrack once again. Now while the story's a bit on the lacking side, the gameplay more than makes up for it. The kills are brutal and the gameplay is engaging. I really like the simple yet extremely satisfying stealth system that they have in place in the game, and one really neat feature is that you have the option to play completely stealth or just go nuts and rush into battle. If you're interested in Mark of the Ninja, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching a previous low of just $4.99. Nine Parchments is a cooperative shoot-'em-up style RPG from the creators of the Trine series, and it has a main story that should last roughly 8 or 9 hours to wrap up. In this one, we play as a group of runaway apprentice wizards convinced that they can complete their training on their own if they just find and collect the 9 parchments. The game is beautiful on the Switch and it runs great too, plus there's loads of collectibles and upgrades that you can find, spells to unlock and master, and fun to be had with a group of friends. In addition to local co-op, it also has online as well, making this a great value, and if you're interested, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 75%, matching a previous low, again of just $4.99. A Short Hike is a single-player action platformer with a unique pixel art style of graphics, and it has a main story that will last roughly 3 to 4 hours to wrap up, with a download size around 430 megabytes. Now while the story for the game is pretty short, it's definitely one that will grip you and pull you in. Players get to hike, climb, and soar through the peaceful mountainside landscapes of Hawk Peak Park. You're left to explore at your own pace and in any direction that your heart desires, and one particular highlight for us was the soundtrack. It did a great job of really adding a level of immersion. This is a game I think everyone should at least try out once, and right now if you're interested, it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 30%, matching a previous low of just $5.59. Next up we have Chasm. This is a single-player retro-style action RPG from publisher Leadman Games and has a main story that will last roughly 10 hours to wrap up. It has a download size around 1 gigabyte, and in this one players will explore the depths below the remote town in the mountains to investigate a series of strange disappearances amongst the townsfolk. The game is heavily inspired by older Metroidvania-style dungeon crawlers and features a truly immersive and ever-changing world for players to roam around in. The art and sound are once again top-notch, and the boss battles were a particular highlight for us as they're massive and epic. If you're interested in Chasm, right now you can grab it up for just $5.99, marked down 70%, matching an all-time low until January 1st. Iconoclast is a single-player 2D adventure game from Bitfrost Entertainment that will take roughly 10 to 15 hours to complete, and it has a download size just under 200 megabytes. In Iconoclast, players explore a large world filled with challenging puzzles, interesting characters, and plenty of bosses and baddies to keep you busy. In fact, the game features 20 intense boss battles and an amazing retro-style aesthetic and sound. There's also a few difficulty settings to add accessibility for younger players, and if you're interested in Iconoclast, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on December 31st. Right now it's marked down 70%, matching a previous low of just $5.99. Shakedown Hawaii is a single-player adventure game from publisher VBlank Entertainment and offers roughly 10 to 15 hours of main story gameplay, again with the download size just under 200 megabytes. The game follows 3 protagonists through a 16-bit open world that feels alive and absolutely supplanted from the 80s. It plays like an old-school GTA with a top-down view, and your goal is to become the biggest business tycoon on the island. This does mean by any means necessary. Now once you finish the main story, which again was outstanding, there really isn't a whole lot of replayability, but for that one play alone, it's worth the price. Right now you can pick it up on sale until January 1st, marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $5.99. Evergate is a single-player adventure platform game from Stone Lantern Games with a main story that will last roughly 7 to 10 hours and it has a download size around 3.7 gigabytes. In this one, players wield their soul flame and unleash extraordinary powers as you dive into the touching story of two kindred spirits. Now this is a journey through the beautiful and haunting afterlife in this unique 2D puzzle platformer. The game also has a really cool time-based mechanic allowing you to slow time and then use these crystals that you find to unleash your full power. The gorgeous environments paired with the original soundtrack were top-notch, and if you're interested in Evergate, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's currently marked down 40% to a new all-time low of just $5.99. Risk of Rain 2 is a 3D adventure game from Gearbox Publishing and is available for 1 to 4 players in both local and online gameplay. It has a download size around 3.1 gigabytes and offers more than 30 hours of chaotic action. In this one, we find ourselves stranded on an alien planet and we must fight our way through hordes of enemies to make it to the end. There are 12 distinct different areas, each packed with challenging monsters and giant bosses. Plus, they give you the option to either fight your way to the final boss right away or escape and continue your run until you feel ready for the final challenge. The game also has an incredible amount of items that you can find and combine together, which keeps it feeling fresh, and this is another game that hasn't been on sale in a while, and a great value when you can catch it. If you're interested in Risk of Rain 2, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 75% to a new all-time low of just $6.24. Haven Park is a single-player exploration game from Moon Eye Studios with a download size around 570 megabytes and roughly 3 to 4 hours of main story gameplay. However, with the crafting system and the peaceful nature, you'll probably get a lot more time from the game than that. In this one, we play as the new park ranger, so to speak, and it's our job to restore the park back to its former glory. The game does encourage exploration and it lets you set up and build camps all around the island, plus there are even a few secrets scattered around. The characters and story are both charming and the music is incredibly peaceful, as I said before. If you're interested in Haven Park, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 25% to a new all-time low of just $6.74. Blazing Chrome is a 2D arcade-style run-and-gun shooter from the Arcade Crew with a download size around 140 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 3 to 4 hours. Plus, it's available for 2 players in co-op as well. In this one, machines rule the world and the human race is on the brink of extinction. It's up to us to take out the machines and regain control. There are 5 amazing levels full of hundreds of enemies and some really cool boss battles that you get to fight as well. The retro graphics and sound really give this an authentic arcade feel, and with the local co-op, the game becomes even more fun. If you're interested in Blazing Chrome, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 60%, matching a previous low of just $6.79. Ghost and Apples is an addictive and deceptively challenging puzzle game from rough cyberhumans with a download size around 220 megabytes, and it also has 2-player local co-op that is a blast as well, making this a great value and one of my favorite games on the list. There are more than 150 handcrafted levels, 2 distinctly different playable characters, and they even have different game modes. Plus the soundtrack was top notch as well. What's really cool is that while you play, you'll unlock new paintings in this house that you go through and they act as the levels. But you can even find secret rooms and special rooms with some really cool NPCs that you get to talk to. It may look simple, but trust me, this game is way tougher than it looks at first. It's easy enough for young gamers to jump in, but it's also challenging enough for veteran gamers. Right now you can pick it up on sale until January 1st, marked down 30% to a new all-time low of just $6.99. The Swords of Ditto Mormo's Curse is an action RPG with a top-down view from Devolver Digital, available for 2 players offline with the main story that will last roughly 15 hours to wrap up. Now this is a unique game where every adventure becomes its own legend. The good and the bad decisions that you make, your successes, your failures, all carry over to the next run and have an impact on future adventures. In fact, this can even affect the items and upgrades that you'll be able to find as well. The game is full of beautiful environments, a thumping soundtrack, and secrets everywhere to uncover, and you can take on the main quest line or just tackle any number of the different side quests available. If you're interested in Swords of Ditto Mormo's Curse, make sure to pick it up while on sale before January 1st. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $7.49. Slay the Spire is a single-player strategy RPG from Humble Games, offering a main story that will last more than 40 hours, and it has a download size around 540 megabytes. Now this is a fusion of a deck-building card-style game mixed with a roguelike mashed together for a great experience. Like with many deck builders, the key to success will come from trial and error, finding the best combinations of cards to fill out your deck. The game world is an ever-changing one where each trip up the spire will give players a new layout so the game doesn't start to feel stale too early on. As you travel through the spire, you find different powerful relics that you can use to greatly enhance your deck, making easy work of the enemies that you encounter. If you're interested in Slay the Spire, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 70% to a new all-time low of just $7.49. Into the Breach is a challenging single-player turn-based strategy game from Subset Games with a download size around 450 megabytes, and it has a campaign that can last 20 to 40 hours, making this an excellent value. Now, Subset Games has given us an amazing strategy game here with some twists to the normal mechanics that add a fresh spin on the genre and really help the game to stand out. The game has amazing level variety as well, and fans of tabletop style games will surely enjoy this one as the Switch version is perfect both in docked as well as in handheld mode. There are enough tutorials and a difficulty toggle, making the game easy enough for newcomers and satisfying enough for longtime fans. And if you're interested in this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $7.49. Next we have Ys Origin. This is one of the greatest single-player action RPGs of all time, coming to us from .emu and offers players roughly 20 to 40 hours of main story gameplay, depending on how much you want to explore. The game has a download size around 2.5 gigabytes, and it features 3 different playable characters with different skill sets and abilities, gorgeous environments, and multiple game modes as well. There are loads of relics and other collectibles to find, and some of the best music in any game. Plus, the boss battles are outstanding. If you're a fan of the series or action-based JRPGs in general, you should definitely consider picking this one up before the sale ends on January 1st. Right now it's marked down 60%, matching an all-time low of just $7.99. Axiom Verge is a single-player action platformer with a main story that will last roughly 15 to 20 hours to wrap up, and it has a download size around 320 megabytes. After an accident at the lab, a scientist wakes up in a mysterious alien-filled world. Players will have to explore this new maze-like world filled with horrific monsters, mechs, and our own internal demons. Along the way, you search for new weapons, items, and abilities that you'll need to progress further into the story. You can even use items like game glitches to manipulate your enemies and to help solve puzzles. If you've never played Axiom Verge, it's definitely a must-buy when on sale, and if you're interested, you can check it out until January 1st, marked down 60%, matching a previous low of just $7.99, and the sequel is also on sale. Hand of Fate 2 is a single-player tabletop deck-building RPG with a download size around 3.7 gigabytes and a main story that will last more than 40 hours. Now this is a blend of multiple genres all rolled into one, and they managed to pull it off flawlessly. The blend of deck building and questing is truly rewarding, and it can be quite difficult at times. It is a battle of wit and strength against the mysterious dealer, but if you choose your cards wisely and make it through to the end, you'll have played one of the best deck builders on the Switch. If you're interested in Hand of Fate 2, make sure to pick it up before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 67%, matching a previous low of just $9.89. Golden Force is an adventure-style platformer with a gorgeous pixel art aesthetic and a charming story, available for 1 to 2 players in local co-op with a story that will last roughly 3 to 4 hours to wrap up. The game features 4 playable characters, an old-school level of difficulty, fantastic boss battles, and loads of secrets to find. You'll be able to explore all 4 worlds solo or with a friend locally, which, as you know, we always love here at the channel. Players take on the role of 1 or 2 of the elite Golden Force with promises of gold and epic battles. This is definitely one of my favorite games, and it was part of the No Gravity Games giveaway this year, so make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 13th. It's marked down 55% to a new all-time low of just $9.99. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse is one of many great 2D adventures in the series from publisher WayForward and can take roughly 5 to 10 hours to wrap up. Now this is the 3rd game in the main series, and at its release it was the biggest game in the series. We once again play as the purple-haired genie, but this time we've lost all of our powers, so we have to team up with our nemesis, a nefarious pirate named Risky Boots. You'll have all new abilities, and many of them are needed to advance the story, defeat enemies, and take down the epic bosses. Right now you can pick up Shantae and the Pirate's Curse along with many other games in the series on sale until January 1st. This one's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $9.99. Sea of Solitude: The Director's Cut is a single-player adventure game from Quantic Dream with a download size around 1.6 gigabytes, and it has a main story that will last roughly 4 to 5 hours. This game is beautiful on the Switch, and the storytelling is top tier. It's one of those games that's more of an experience than just a game, and this version was rewritten with an all-new script, and they even added voice acting into the cutscenes as well. Plus there are even some console exclusives as well, making this one of the best ways to play the game. The story is very emotional, so be warned. If you're into a good narrative though, this is definitely a game I recommend and worth checking out while on sale until January 1st, marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $9.99. The Ninja Saviors Return of the Warriors is an amazing 2D retro fighter for 1 to 2 players in local co-op and offers roughly 4 to 5 hours of main story gameplay. The download size is around 670 megabytes, and it does offer a little replayability, so your mileage may vary. Now this is a reboot of a classic game and puts us in the role of one of the 5 android ninjas as we brawl our way through waves of different enemies. There are 8 different levels that we can fight through, either solo or, like I said, for the first time in the series with a friend and co-op. They've improved the mechanics and sound, and this is a great value when it's on sale, and right now you can get it for half price, marked down to just $9.99, matching an all-time low, and definitely worth checking out. Fight and Rage is an arcade-style fighter from Blitworks Studios and offers a main story that will last roughly 20 to more than 200 hours to beat, depending on how much you want to complete. The game also has several different endings, an awesome combo system, loads of different unlockables including costumes, characters, and even unlockable enemies as well. One of the most unique features in the game is the local co-op, which is available for up to 3 players at one time. There are even some challenge stages and modes designed for the most hardcore gamers, and if you're interested in jumping into this harsh world controlled by mutants where humans fight for survival, be sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's currently marked down 50% to just $9.99, matching a previous low. Blue Fire is a single-player platform RPG coming to us from Graffiti Games with a main story that will last roughly 10 to 15 hours to wrap up, and it has a download size just over 5 gigabytes. In Blue Fire, players embark on a journey through the various temples and locations filled with increasingly harder platform challenges while completing quests and finding collectibles along the way. This one is all about fast-paced movement and quick reflexes, and the art style is phenomenal, and once again the soundtrack was top-notch. Now this one's been called a cross between Wind Waker and Sunshine, and I think that's pretty accurate. If it sounds interesting to you, consider grabbing it up before the sale ends on January 1st. Right now it's marked down 50%, matching an all-time low of just $9.99. Pode is a 3D puzzle-style adventure game from publisher Henchman & Goon with the main story that will take roughly 4 to 6 hours to complete, and it has a download size around 2.8 gigabytes. The game's also available for 2 players in local co-op, and in fact it was actually designed with co-op in mind, and it really is a blast if you have a friend or a sibling to play with. The story revolves around a rock and a fallen star who have to solve puzzles together in a stunningly beautiful world. You get to explore an ancient cave system to try to uncover its hidden secrets, and you can even combine the 2 characters' special moves together to overcome the different tougher puzzles. Now as I said before, the game was designed with co-op in mind, but it's completely playable by yourself and it's still a great time. If you're interested in this one, make sure to grab it up before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $12.49. Phoenotopia Awakening is a single-player retro 2D RPG. This time it comes to us from Cape Cosmic, and it has a main story that will last more than 50 hours. The game has a gorgeous retro look and sound to it, and they were absolutely top-notch once again here on the Switch. It features a challenging combat system, unique puzzles, and it encourages exploration as well. The story itself revolves around a young girl who, while out gathering the rest of the children, gets sidetracked, and while away the entire town disappears, leaving just her and her friends to uncover the mystery. Along the way you face off with tough bosses that test your skills and reflexes, uncover secrets, find hidden paths and collectibles, and of course form friendships with different NPCs that will ultimately help you save your hometown. Right now you can pick up Phoenotopia Awakening on sale until January 6th, marked down 35% to a new all-time low of just $12.99. Unmetal is a single-player comedic take on the Metal Gear series and comes to us from Versus Evil with a download size of just 570 megabytes and a main story that will last more than 10 hours. In this one we play as Jesse Fox, a man who was imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. We retell the story to the audience while we're being interrogated upon our return from being imprisoned, and the gameplay is absolutely amazing. The story had me laughing from the very beginning and I couldn't wait to finish the game. The voice acting is also absolutely top notch, and this game is a true gem on the eShop in my opinion. It's shown from a top-down view with pixelated graphics, and I promise is well worth picking up while on sale until January 1st. Once again marked down 35%, matching an all-time low of just $12.99. Curse of the Dead Gods is a single-player action-adventure title from Focus Home Interactive with the main story that will last more than 40 hours and a download size around 4 gigabytes. Now this is a skill-based roguelike set in a dark temple with endless rooms and hallways that you can explore. You definitely want to proceed with caution though, as there are deadly traps around every corner. The game features several different weapon types, including both melee and ranged weapons, dozens of enemy types with amazing and tough boss battles as well, and each run is altered a bit from the last by the curse system that they have in place. If you're interested in Curse of the Dead Gods, make sure to check it out as it's on sale until January 1st, marked down 30% to a new all-time low of just $13.99. Death's Door is a single-player adventure game from Devolver Digital with a download size around 2.7 gigabytes and a main story that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours to wrap up. Now the controls will take a little bit of getting used to, but once you've got the hang of it, you'll be good to go. The atmosphere and music are top notch here with this one, and it's a must-play game in the genre. The boss battles are unique and challenging, and while the game is definitely tough, it never feels unfair or cheap. The combat system is amazing, allowing you to blend magic use with melee weapons, and each of the levels were a blast to play through. Fans of pure action games should definitely check this one out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 25% to a new all-time low of just $14.99. Dusk is a single-player FPS from New Blood Interactive with a download size around 2.8 gigabytes and a main story that should last roughly 10 hours or so to wrap up. The game sees players battling through 3 different campaign episodes, all handcrafted and full of possessed baddies to mow down. We have access to a vast assortment of weapons, both melee and ranged, plus when you finish the campaign you can jump right into the endless survival mode. Now the game may look and feel like it's from the 90s, but it plays butter smooth at 60 FPS on the Switch, and it has some modern day features like the weapon wheel and gyro aiming, so anyone can jump right in and have fun. If you enjoy good retro FPS, make sure to check this one out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 25% to a new all-time low of just $14.99. Eldest Souls is a single-player action RPG from Fallen Flag Studios with a download size around 1.4 gigabytes and a main story that should last between 6 to 8 hours to wrap up. The story takes place after humankind has decided to rebel against the spiteful gods and imprison them within a large citadel. In a final act of vengeance, the gods decide to unleash a great desolation across the land. Now the game is incredibly hard and has some amazing boss battles, gorgeous graphics, and an emotional story, plus the game is just fun overall to play. You're basically battling through different combat scenarios and bosses as you work towards the ancient citadel. If you're interested in this one, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 25%, matching a previous low of just $14.99. Terraria is an action RPG with a retro aesthetic from Pipeworks Studios, available for up to 8 players online, or you can play by yourself if you would prefer to do so. The game offers more than 100 hours of gameplay, and it's always a fan favorite. Now this game has been available on other consoles for a while, but it finally came to the Switch in 2019, and it's been a top seller ever since. Players get to dig, explore, fight, and build in this procedurally generated world where you start with next to nothing but a pickaxe and you just get to explore. It's a blend of action and sandbox exploration with over 300 different enemies, 20 different boss battles, and 20 different environments as well. This really is a massive game with so much to do and so much to find, and if you still haven't played it, definitely check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 50%, matching a previous low of just $14.99. Streets of Rage 4 is an amazing beat-em-up from a long-lasting franchise that offers a main story that will take roughly 5 to 6 hours to complete. However, there's a lot of replayability here, so you may end up spending more than double or triple that with the game. You can also play in local co-op or online, with local being available for up to 4 players and online limiting that down to 2. Now this was a glorious return to the series and features beautiful hand-drawn graphics and animations, an absolutely fantastic soundtrack, and that classic gameplay we all love. There are even a load of unlockable characters as well, and this is a great value. Right now you can pick it up until January 1st, marked down 40%, matching a previous low, again of just $14.99. Next we have Death's Gambit, the Afterlife Edition. This is a single-player action RPG with some platforming thrown in for good measure. The game features an expansive world with over 20 beautifully crafted levels, intense boss battles, multiple difficulty levels, and an alternate ending as well. Now this is a true Metroidvania featuring non-linear exploration where you have to unlock movement and combat upgrades in order to progress through the game. In this edition, you also get 10 new levels, more than 30 new weapons, and 5 new boss battles, making this a great value and a perfect way for fans of the original to revisit the game and even see some new stuff. If you're interested in tough Metroidvanias with loads of content, make sure to check out Death's Gambit Afterlife Edition before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 20% to a new all-time low of just $15.99. Hades is a single-player action RPG from Supergiant Games and offers players more than 40 hours of main story gameplay with a download size just under 6 GB. So many people have expressed their love for this game, and I was happy to see it go back on sale. In this one, we assume the role of an immortal prince of the underworld, wielding powerful weapons and abilities as we battle through hell on our way to fight the god of death himself. Now, the game is gorgeous and has nearly perfect controls. It also gives you some permanent upgrades, so you don't have to worry about losing everything after each run. Plus, on top of that, each new run offers new surprises, so the game has plenty of replayability. If you're interested in Hades, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 1st. It's marked down 35% to a new all-time low of just $16.24. Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tassos is an action RPG with a retro aesthetic coming to us again from Team 17. It has a download size just over 1.6 GB and a main story that will last more than 15 hours to finish up, making this an excellent option for RPG fans. The game offers both local and online co-op, where you get to team up with some friends to tackle the procedurally generated dungeons and explore the massive world. Plus, you can rebuild your hometown. Now, the game is shown from a top-down view and has an absolutely amazing soundtrack with a pretty cool story as well. The boss battles are a lot of fun, especially if you have a group of friends to play with, and if you're interested in Rogue Heroes, it's currently on sale until January 6th, marked down 50% to a new all-time low of just $9.99. Neon Abyss is a single-player action platformer from Team 17 once again, offering more than 10 to 15 hours of main story gameplay and a download size under 750 megabytes. Now, this is a fantastic game where you run and gun your way into the Abyss as part of the Grim Squad. The game features a unique dungeon evolution system where each run is altered by the previous one, and this gives a level of freedom to how you can complete and expand each dungeon. Another really cool feature is how the items can stack in almost an infinite amount of different ways, and these will be key to your success. You kinda have to experiment and play around with the different combinations for maximum damage. If you're interested in Neon Abyss, or this is another game you've been kind of on the fence about, make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 50% to a new all-time low of just $9.99. Streets of Rogue, the Character Pack Edition, is a retro-style action RPG from Tiny Build Games and offers hours of playtime for up to 4 players in either online or local couch co-op. Now, this is a roguelite, except instead of dungeon crawling, Streets of Rogue has the players doing missions and completing tasks in these procedurally generated cities that are bustling with other NPCs, making the whole city come to life. Small details in games like this one really can make or break the sense of immersion and fun. Each level gives the player a certain goal, and from there it's up to you how you choose to play it out. You can go full action run and gun, or slow and stealthy and methodical. Really, the choice is up to each player. Of course, this is bundled with the character pack, which adds 6 new completely unique playable characters as well, and if you're going to get it, this is definitely the version I recommend. If you are interested in Streets of Rogue, make sure to pick it up with the character pack edition. It's on sale until January 6th, marked down 50%, matching the previous low of just $11.49. Scourgebringer is a single-player 2D action platformer from Plug-In Digital and offers players roughly 9 to 10 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 390 megabytes. This game is ultra challenging, and fans of true video game punishment will absolutely love it. As far as a true roguelite genre goes, this game is a must-play at least once. The controls are amazing and the game looks gorgeous on the Switch, and I bet even better on the OLED, plus the soundtrack was top-notch. The dungeons are procedurally generated and the boss battles are absolutely fantastic. If you enjoy a good challenge, please check out Scourgebringer before the sale ends on January 2nd. It's marked down 35%, matching a previous low of just $11.04. Pumpkin Jack is a single-player 3D action platformer that will take roughly 6 to 7 hours to finish up, and it has a download size just under 3 gigabytes. In this one, we play as Jack, the Pumpkin Lord, and we've been contracted by the devil to do his bidding. The game is fairly linear, but there are a few different level types to keep things fresh along the way. Now, this game immediately reminded me of Medieval from the original PlayStation, which was another Halloween spooky-based platformer. This one is really great. One really cool feature is that there are these areas where you detach your head from your body and solve puzzles with just Jack's head. Now, the camera is a little bit wonky, but if you like 3D adventure games, this is a must-buy. Make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 8th. It's marked down 55%, matching a previous low of just $13.49. Skull the Hero Slayer is a single-player action platformer from NeoWiz and offers roughly 5 to 10 hours of main story gameplay with a download size around 3.4 gigabytes. Now, this is a fast-paced platformer with an amazing combat system, great controls, and awesome pixelated graphics. The story is comedic and it does enough to keep you engaged throughout. Now you will die a lot, and in fact it's encouraged, but each run you'll get further and further. The game features over 100 playable characters, each with unique abilities and skills, and there are loads of upgrades and secret items to find. It is a relatively new game, but definitely worth checking out while on sale until January 6th. It's currently marked down 20% to a new all-time low of just $15.99. Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights is a single-player action RPG from Binary Haze Interactive with a download size just under 2 GB and a main story that will last more than 20 hours to wrap up. The game has an amazing art style and smooth gameplay here on the Switch. The dark atmosphere and soundtrack are incredibly immersive and the story is really engaging. The combat system is one of my favorites, plus there's so many new skills and abilities that you can unlock and a wide variety of cool weapons that you get to use along the way. Now the game is definitely difficult but well worth it and satisfying in the end. If you're interested in Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights, be sure to grab it up as it doesn't go on sale too often, but right now it's marked down 25% to an all-time low of just $18.74. Greek Memories of Azure is a single-player puzzle platform game from Team 17, offering roughly 9 hours of main story gameplay and a download size of about 1.5 GB. Now the story revolves around 3 siblings on a quest to save their home from invasion. The hand-drawn art and animations are stunning on the Switch, and there's even a demo for folks to try it out first. Now, although there's a heavy emphasis on puzzle solving throughout the game, it never gets too overly complicated, plus it features an amazing combat system and some challenging bosses to reward your hard work. The soundtrack once again is also top notch, and this is a great deal. Make sure to check it out before the sale ends on January 6th. It's marked down 40% to a new all-time low of just $11.99. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 The Complete Edition is a single-player park building sim that's been retooled to work great on the Switch. The game has a download size of around 2.8 GB, and in this one you get to build a massive theme park full of amazing rides. But you also of course get to manage the park as well. You can control things like ticket prices, staff wages, store pricing, and much more. Now they do have a sandbox mode as well, so if you just want to build and not have to worry about the money or all the other tedious day-to-day activities, you can just go with that instead. There are over 300 rides, 60 different shops, and even animals that you can raise in this complete edition. If you enjoy park builders, make sure to check this one out before the sale ends on January 4th. It's marked down 60% to a new all-time low of just $11.99. Folks, it's time for the new creator spotlight. I'm really excited for this one. It's our buddy and good friend of the channel, Rogue Spirit Reviews. This guy is genuine, passionate, and his reviews are awesome, plus I promise you'll get a laugh or two from the videos as well. Please show him some love, go hit that red button, and let's spread the gaming goodness around. Alright brother, the floor is yours.
Hi to JP and the extended family, much love and much abundance in the upcoming year for 2022. So I'm Rogue Spirit, and basically what I do on my channel is I review video games and I give my honest opinion and basically try to tell the viewers if it's worth it to invest their hard-earned time and cash, not just old but new video games as well. And also I just want to share my opinion on some personal favorite games of mine that a lot of people either don't know about or just haven't had the time to play yet. So yeah, there's a lot of other YouTubers that influenced me to start doing video game reviews. I know it's a big niche and all that, but I love what I do and I'm gonna just keep doing it. And I love my passion for video games, and I love what I do on YouTube. It's a good side hobby, and I'm just having fun with it. And JP has supported my channel a lot, so much love to him. And little man, how are you doing? I love your channel as well. I love your gameplay videos. And much love to everyone else, and much love to the rest of the extended family. Yeah, that's basically it. Just doing what I do, and I'm loving it so far. So yeah, it's nice to meet you all. If you guys want an honest opinion on video games, don't forget to check out my channel, Rogue Spirit Reviews. I also have top 10s, I do top 5s as well. I'm trying to kind of branch out a little bit here and try to cover some other gaming news and whatnot, but yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, cheers JP, and much love to the extended family as well from Rogue Spirit Reviews. Love you guys, peace.
Alright folks, it's time for our newest creator spotlight. Once again, I'm really excited to introduce you all to Snowly Games. He's a really great guy, and you all showed an overwhelming amount of support for our last guest, so thank you. Let's do it again folks. If you have time, please head over to his channel and hit that red button. I promise you won't be disappointed. Okay Z, take it away man, the floor is yours.
What's going on JP? Huge shout out and a thank you for the spotlight and all the love and support you continue to show towards me, my channel, and all my endeavors. Much love and respect. And also a huge shout out to you for all the hard work and effort that you put into your eShop sales videos, because you saved me quite a bit of money and a lot of time. And as we know, navigating the eShop could be a task and a half trying to find these sales and deals, right? So without much further ado, I am Zuriel Davenport, aka Z-Man the Tech. I'm the business owner of Snowly Productions LLC, and that's comprised of IT services, music production, and game design. I'm currently working on 2 games at the moment. Raiders of R and Space Shooter Z, slated for a PC release, and later on hopefully we can get a web browser release as well as a mobile Android release. As far as the music, you can find it at zmanthetech.bandcamp.com, as well as soundcloud.com/zmanthetech, soundcloud.com/snowly813. There you can basically find all my music that I've put out, whether it's on the MC side for hip-hop or the actual instrumental side. As far as the games, you can find those at snowlyproductionsllc.itch.io, and you'll find Space Shooter Z, Raiders of R, and one of my very first projects, which is a really goofy adolescent humor, I guess you can say Pac-Man clone kind of a game called Super Rad Butt Cheese. As far as the YouTube channel Snowly Games, that is the channel that I manage and primarily focus on trying to put indie developers out there with their projects, because there's a lot of brilliant titles out there that deserve the spotlight. My goal is to bring it to the forefront. Also, you can expect to find a lot of gameplays, let's plays, tech reviews, game reviews, and I try to cover as many platforms as I can, but most of my content is going to be between Switch and Steam right now on the PC side. And I have live streamed in the past, but it's been a little sparse as far as the audience lately, so I haven't really done it in a while. But things have changed recently in the last few months, so I may go ahead and give it another shot, and we'll go from there. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Y'all take care, be safe out there, have a good one.
Alright folks, that's going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode. Thanks as always for hanging out with us again today. You know we truly appreciate it. I definitely hope you had a good time, or maybe found a deal or two that you were interested in. Happy holidays to everyone out there, and if you missed last episode, I'll make sure to link it down below. Also, if you get a chance, consider stopping by Little Man's channel. We have more gameplays and daily deals and sales list over there as well. Thanks again, you all are legendary. Have a wonderful week everyone. Much love, and we'll let Little Man take us home as always. Bye everyone.
That's all for today's list. We hope you liked the video. If you did, consider subscribing and liking down below. Okay, bye!